Charice June, a sophisticated, poised CEO, feels suffocated by her life in Clearwater City, bound by corporate obligations and societal expectations. Recently divorced, her life has felt increasingly void of joy, as the once vibrant dreams of her youth have been replaced by the monotonous demands of the June Group, her family's prestigious company. For years, she's dedicated herself to the family legacy, sacrificing her personal life and happiness to ensure the company's success. In a rare act of rebellion, Charice decides to take a solo trip to Monte Verde, a coastal gem known for its bright, serene beaches, quaint town streets, and lively, artistic culture. The town offers her a much-needed breath of fresh air, a retreat from the restrictive life back in Clearwater. Under the golden hues of a Monte Verde sunset, Charice steps onto the soft sands of the beach, feeling a sense of freedom she hasn't felt in years. It's as if the beauty of Monte Verde is urging her to reconnect with the parts of herself she's long ignored. As Charice strolls along the shoreline, she notices a young man setting up a camera and sketching the shoreline with intense focus. His relaxed demeanor contrasts sharply with her refined elegance, and she's intrigued by his easy smile and unfiltered curiosity. The young man, Kris, notices her watching him and offers a friendly wave, sparking a spontaneous conversation. Charice learns that Kris is a traveling photographer with a passion for capturing fleeting beauty and moments that others often overlook. Over the next few days, Charice and Kris find themselves repeatedly crossing paths. From the bustling Monte Verde marketplace filled with colorful trinkets and spices, to quiet cafes tucked away in cobblestone alleys, each chance encounter deepens their connection. Kris's youthful energy and unguarded joy stand in stark contrast to Charice's composed and reserved nature, and she finds herself captivated by his perspective on life. Kris, drawn to Charice's quiet strength and graceful presence, encourages her to let loose and explore the town's hidden spots. He takes her to a secluded part of the beach where he captures the sunset with his camera, showing her a different view of the world. Through Kris's lens, Charice sees Monte Verde and life in a new light. Their friendship blossoms into something unspoken, and with each shared laugh and stolen glance, Charice begins to feel her heart awaken. One evening, they climb to the top of a scenic overlook to watch the sunset, where they sit in comfortable silence, admiring the view. The natural beauty of Monte Verde reflects the peace Charice feels in Kris's company. It's here, on this quiet hilltop, that they both realize their connection runs deeper than mere friendship. Yet, as the sky darkens, so too do the reminders of their separate lives. Despite her growing feelings for Kris, Charice remains wary, fearing the inevitable return to reality that looms on the horizon. Charice, feeling lighter with Kris by her side, begins to explore Monte Verde in ways she'd never have dared alone. One day, Kris invites her to visit a local art gallery that hosts works by lesser-known artists. As they browse paintings filled with vibrant colors and raw emotion, Charice reflects on how long it's been since she indulged in such simple pleasures. She realizes that, in Monte Verde, she can finally be herself, away from the scrutinizing eyes of Clearwater City. Kris shares stories of his travels, talking about the different cultures he's experienced and the beauty of living without constraints. Charice is fascinated by his life, one so wildly different from her own, and she begins to wonder if she could ever be that free. She tells Kris about her struggles as CEO, of how the expectations and pressures have shaped her life into something unrecognizable. Kris listens with a gentle understanding, respecting her need to find her own path. After the gallery visit, Kris surprises Charice with a spontaneous dance on the beach, twirling her beneath the moonlight. In his arms, she feels liberated from the confines of her own expectations. It's a night of pure bliss, a moment unspoiled by the demands of her life back home. For the first time, she entertains the possibility of a life where happiness isn't secondary to duty. As their bond deepens, Kris and Charice continue to explore Monte Verde together. Kris takes her to a hidden cove where the sea shimmers in brilliant turquoise hues, untouched and pristine. They sit on the sand, and Kris opens up about his own struggles and dreams, confessing his fears of living a life without purpose. His vulnerability touches Charice, making her realize how closed off she's become. Charice, in turn, reveals parts of herself she's kept buried for years. The passion she once had for painting, her unfulfilled dreams, and the sadness that comes with losing herself to responsibility. Kris encourages her to embrace those dreams again, urging her to reclaim her passions and make space for her own happiness. The chemistry between them grows undeniable, and Kris takes Charice's hand, softly brushing his thumb against her knuckles. Their eyes meet, and for a moment, they're lost in each other's gaze, connected by an unspoken understanding. They both know they're on the edge of something profound, but fear holds Charice back. Just as Kris leans in, Charice pulls away, overwhelmed by the feelings she can't yet put into words. As the days pass, Charice's vacation in Monteverde draws to a close, and the weight of her obligations begins to pull her back to Clearwater City. The realization that she must return to her controlled, structured life feels like a dark cloud over her newfound joy. Kris senses her growing apprehension, but he doesn't push her. Instead, he supports her, letting her know that he'll be there if she needs him. On their last night together in Monteverde, Kris arranges a surprise farewell dinner on the beach, setting up a small table under a canopy of fairy lights. The soft glow of the lights reflects in Charice's eyes as they share an intimate meal, talking about everything and nothing. She's overwhelmed by how deeply he understands her, feeling that, with him, she's finally found someone who sees her for who she truly is. As the evening draws to a close, Kris takes Charice's hand and, under the starry sky, asks her to stay, to consider a life unbound by duty and expectations. Charice, torn between her heart and her responsibilities, hesitates. Though she's tempted to stay with him, she knows the life waiting for her in Clearwater City won't allow it. She thanks him for showing her a different way to live, but with tears in her eyes, she says goodbye, leaving Kris on the beach with the memory of their shared time together. Returning to Clearwater City, Charice feels the weight of her decision, haunted by memories of Monteverde and the love she left behind. As she steps back into her life, she can't shake the sense that, somewhere along the way, she's lost a part of herself that only Kris could truly understand. As Charice boards her flight back to Clearwater City, she feels an aching void where her memories of Monteverde now reside. The city she returns to is as she left it, meticulously organized, efficient, and stifling. Every corner of her office, her schedule, and her responsibilities pull her back to the life she's fought so hard to maintain. Yet, beneath her polished surface, Charice feels a change, as if Kris's warmth and the simple freedom of Monteverde have left indelible marks on her heart. Once settled in her high-rise office, she catches glimpses of herself in the glass reflections, recalling the carefree woman she briefly became with Kris. Her trusted assistant notices her distraction and, with concern, reminds her of the board meetings and corporate dinners filling her calendar. Charice thanks her and brushes it off, knowing that sharing these feelings would only reveal vulnerabilities she's long hidden from the world. Back in his hometown, Kris keeps the memory of Charice close, occasionally glancing at the photographs he took during their days together. As much as he wants to reach out, he respects the choice she made. He's tempted to send her one last message, but he holds back, unsure if it would reopen wounds for them both. Days turn into weeks, and Charice's workload intensifies. With a significant merger on the horizon, her presence and attention are more critical than ever. In a world of boardroom negotiations and business strategy, her interactions are strictly professional, but her heart is elsewhere. She often finds herself reliving moments with Kris, the man who made her laugh freely, who encouraged her to pursue her dreams, and who genuinely saw her for who she was. One evening, as Charice heads to yet another high-stakes dinner meeting, she receives a small, unexpected parcel. Inside, she finds a framed photo of the Monteverde sunset, a serene, beautiful moment Kris captured on their last evening together. There's no note, but Charice knows it's from him. Seeing the photograph fills her with a bittersweet longing, and she's torn between the life she's known and the life she glimpsed by his side. Charice's mother, Mrs. June, who runs the family's philanthropic division, notices her daughter's restlessness and asks if something is wrong. Charice brushes it off, maintaining the composure her mother expects, yet she wonders if her mother sees the tension within her. In the world of business and family duty, vulnerability is viewed as a weakness, a sentiment she's long internalized. As Charice tries to put her feelings for Kris aside, her family begins to pressure her into a corporate alliance, an arranged engagement with Martin, the son of a powerful business associate. Martin, a polished and ambitious executive, is everything her family would want for her. He's well-respected, wealthy, and wholly focused on expanding his family's empire. However, he's cold and calculating, lacking the warmth and spontaneity that Kris possessed. During an elegant dinner with both families, Martin formally proposes to Charice, presenting a stunning ring. Charice, overwhelmed and torn, hesitates. She knows her family expects her to accept. This union could solidify their business interests and strengthen their influence. Yet, as she stares at the ring, she sees flashes of the vibrant sunsets of Monte Verde, of Kris's carefree laughter and the joy she felt beside him. Despite her hesitation, Charice agrees to an engagement, though her heart is heavy. She convinces herself that perhaps, with time, her feelings will align with the pragmatic choice she's made. The public announcement of their engagement follows swiftly, and within hours, it's headline news across Clearwater City. Kris, browsing the news online, stumbles upon an article about Charice's engagement to Martin. Seeing her smiling photograph alongside the man she's set to marry, he feels a pang of disappointment and heartbreak. He closes his laptop, trying to let go of the hope he'd harbored since she left Monte Verde. Yet fate intervenes. Shortly after the engagement announcement, Kris receives a job offer from a media company in Clearwater City. It's an unexpected opportunity that aligns with his photography career, and while he's apprehensive, he decides to accept the position. The chance to explore a new environment and perhaps see Charice once more ignites a spark within him. When Kris arrives in Clearwater City, he's struck by its contrast to Monte Verde. The skyscrapers, crowded streets, and fast-paced lifestyle are alien to him. Yet, he's determined to adapt. Unbeknownst to Charice, he's now only a few blocks from her office. One evening, as Kris photographs Clearwater City's bustling nightlife for an assignment, he spots Charice emerging from a restaurant. She's alone, wrapped in a pensive aura, lost in her thoughts. Without thinking, Kris calls out to her, and Charice, startled, turns to see the last person she expected to meet in this city. Charice's surprise quickly turns into joy as she and Kris catch up over coffee. She tells him about her engagement, trying to mask her conflicted feelings, but Kris senses the hesitation in her voice. Although she smiles and speaks fondly of her family's wishes, Kris can see the sadness beneath her words. He realizes she's trapped by the life her family envisions for her, one that leaves little room for personal happiness. Over the next few days, Kris and Charice meet several times, reliving memories of Monte Verde and sharing stories of their lives since then. Kris tries to keep his distance emotionally, but his feelings for her resurface, stronger than ever. Charice, too, feels a renewed connection, though she's torn between her obligations and the undeniable spark with Kris. At an art exhibit Kris invites her to, Charice admires his latest work, a breathtaking photo of the Monte Verde sunset. Standing beside him, she feels her resolve weakening. Kris, sensing her conflict, gently asks, "Are you truly happy with him?" Charice's silence speaks volumes, and the realization of her own unhappiness becomes inescapable. As Charice prepares for a lavish engagement party hosted by her family, she's plagued by doubts. She stares at her reflection in the mirror, dressed in an exquisite gown, yet feeling more like a stranger than herself. The ring on her finger feels like a weight, a constant reminder of the life she's chosen out of duty rather than love. At the party, Martin makes a speech about their future together, highlighting their shared responsibilities and family legacy. As he speaks, Charice glances around, her mind drifting back to her memories with Kris. She realizes that, despite the glamour and prestige surrounding her, she feels empty. Just as she's about to leave the stage, she sees Kris standing at the back of the room, having entered the party as a photographer for a media assignment. Their eyes meet, and Charice feels a jolt of emotion she can't ignore. She realizes she's been living a life dictated by expectations, one that leaves no room for her own dreams. With renewed courage, Charice takes a deep breath and walks toward Kris. Martin calls after her, confused and alarmed, but she ignores him. Charice knows that if she doesn't follow her heart now, she'll never have the chance again. As she reaches Kris, she whispers, "Take me away from here." Without hesitation, he leads her out of the party, leaving behind the life she thought she was destined for. Charice feels liberated for the first time, the weight of obligation lifting as she steps into the unknown beside Kris. Her journey toward true happiness has only just begun, and together, they face an uncertain future with hope and resilience. After the dramatic exit from her engagement party, Charice feels the weight of her decision, but Kris's reassuring presence beside her makes it bearable. They leave Clearwater City for a quiet coastal town, where they rent a modest, cozy house with a view of the sea. Charice begins to experience a life without constant scrutiny or the heavy expectations of her family's legacy. During quiet mornings, they stroll along the beach and talk about everything from life's simple joys to their deepest dreams. Kris introduces Charice to his passion for photography and the inspiration he finds in capturing life's fleeting moments. Moved by his dedication, Charice finds herself eager to explore her own interests, long forgotten in the rush of corporate demands. But her newfound freedom doesn't come without challenges. The media soon gets wind of her engagement breakoff and her sudden retreat from Clearwater City, sparking rumors that strain Charice's relationship with her family. Her mother is deeply hurt, accusing Charice of recklessly throwing away everything they've built. Yet, Charice holds her ground, determined to carve out a life that feels true to her, no matter the cost. Back in Clearwater City, Martin is not one to let go of things easily. Humiliated and furious, he decides to track Charice down, convinced he can bring her back into his world. Martin leverages his resources to find out her whereabouts and even goes as far as hiring a private investigator. He sees her decision not as an act of independence, but as a betrayal and affront to his pride. Meanwhile, Kris and Charice's relationship deepens. They spend their days painting, exploring the local town, and sharing dreams they once thought impossible. Kris shows Charice the hidden beauty of everyday life, helping her break free from the rigid mindset she once held. But one evening, Martin arrives unannounced. Confronting Charice, he makes an ultimatum, reminding her of the financial support her family provided and how her actions could potentially harm her family's reputation and business. Kris intervenes, defending Charice's choice, and a tense argument ensues between the two men. Charice stands by Kris, reaffirming her decision to leave behind the life of luxury for a more authentic existence. Enraged, Martin warns Charice that her defiance will cost her dearly, vowing to bring ruin to everything Kris has worked for. In the weeks following Martin's confrontation, Charice and Kris feel the ripple effects of his threats. Kris's clients in Clearwater City start to pull out of projects, influenced by Martin's connections and influence in the industry. His income dwindles, and the couple begins to struggle financially, forcing them to take on odd jobs around town to make ends meet. Charice, determined not to let Kris suffer because of her, starts searching for work herself. She takes a job as a part-time barista at a local cafe, humbled yet fulfilled by the simplicity and warmth of her interactions with locals. Working together to make their new life work, Charice and Kris grow closer, each sacrifice and challenge strengthening their bond. One day, while on her shift, Charice is approached by an older woman named Ms. Alvarez, who frequents the cafe and notices Charice's kindness. Ms. Alvarez reveals that she owns an art gallery and invites Charice and Kris to showcase Kris's photography in her gallery. The invitation fills them both with hope, and they begin to prepare for the upcoming exhibit, channeling their hardships into creative energy. As Kris prepares for his exhibition, Charice feels a sense of purpose rekindling within her. She starts organizing the exhibit, using her business acumen to plan an event that captures Kris's vision while bringing in patrons. With the gallery set as their canvas, The couple spends countless late nights putting together a showcase of Kris's work, capturing the heart and soul of their journey. The exhibition opens with a modest turnout, but word of Kris's work spreads quickly. His photographs, which capture the essence of the simple yet profound beauty of everyday life, touch the hearts of visitors. For the first time, Kris gains recognition not just for his skill but for the emotional depth in his work. The gallery exhibit becomes a minor sensation, and Kris even receives offers for private commissions, easing their financial burden. Charice realizes her knack for event planning and art curation, and Ms. Alvarez, noticing her talent, offers her a position to help run the gallery part-time. Charice embraces this opportunity, discovering a passion she never knew she had. As they work and grow together, the couple realizes they're building a new life, one defined by love, mutual support, and shared dreams. One evening, Charice is closing the gallery after another successful day when she receives an unexpected visitor, her mother. Initially apprehensive, Charice braces herself for another reprimand or lecture. Instead, Mrs. June appears weary and emotional, confessing that she struggled to understand her daughter's decision but wants to see her happy. Sitting down with Charice, her mother shares her own regrets about prioritizing business over personal happiness, admitting that she never wanted the same path for Charice. She gives Charice her blessing and expresses her hope that she and Kris find the joy and fulfillment she never found herself. The reunion with her mother lifts Charice's spirits and fills her with gratitude. That night, Charice shares the encounter with Kris, feeling more validated and at peace than ever. Kris reassures her that, regardless of the struggles, they are stronger together. The moment feels like a turning point, solidifying their love as they stand hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Life for Charice and Kris begins to stabilize as their newfound life takes shape. Charice's position at the gallery continues to flourish, and the connections she makes with artists and patrons open new doors. She feels a sense of empowerment, knowing that her success is built from her own hard work and passion, not her family's legacy. Kris also experiences a wave of new opportunities thanks to his recent success. His photographs are now in high demand, and he's asked to showcase his work at other galleries across the country. Though he's hesitant to leave the life he and Charice are building, he sees this as an opportunity to secure a brighter future for them. The couple faces a difficult decision: whether Kris should accept the offer and expand his career at the cost of spending less time with Charice. They talk through the challenges and fears, ultimately agreeing that Kris should take this chance. Their shared vision of building a meaningful life together fuels their courage. Charice promises to support him from a distance, knowing their love is strong enough to withstand any separation. Kris departs on his first tour, leaving Charice behind to manage the gallery on her own. The initial weeks are filled with hopeful messages and long phone calls, but the strain of distance begins to take a toll on them. Kris's days are packed with work, leaving little time for their cherished nightly calls, and Charice finds herself missing him deeply as she walks through the empty house they once shared. In Kris's absence, Charice throws herself into the gallery, curating new exhibitions and connecting with emerging artists. She begins to develop a following of her own, becoming known for her intuitive eye and passion for the arts. Though she is proud of what she's achieving, she feels the hollow ache of missing Kris, especially during moments of triumph she longs to share with him. One evening, Kris unexpectedly calls with exciting news. He's received an award for his photography, and he's invited to showcase his work internationally. Though Charice is thrilled for him, she feels a pang of sadness, wondering if their paths are diverging as they each pursue their ambitions. She knows that supporting Kris is the right thing to do, even as she faces her own doubts. As time goes on, Charice's success at the gallery catches the attention of an influential art investor named Harold, who offers her a partnership to launch her own gallery. Flattered and intrigued, Charice feels conflicted. She's always wanted to run her own business, but the timing feels complicated with Kris away. Meanwhile, Kris is introduced to a young, attractive journalist named Isabel, who's covering his exhibition. Isabel is intelligent and enthusiastic, taking a deep interest in Kris's work and life. Though Kris remains loyal to Charice, Isabel's constant presence stirs feelings of loneliness and doubt, as he can't help but notice the ease of their interactions. Charice and Kris's phone calls become less frequent, and tension grows between them as they struggle to keep their connection alive. During one difficult conversation, Charice shares her dilemma about Harold's offer, unsure if she should pursue her own gallery. Kris, preoccupied with his own concerns, tells her to follow her dreams, but his distant tone leaves Charice questioning his commitment. In the silence that follows, both Charice and Kris wonder if the sacrifices they're making are worth it. They're torn between their love and the demands of their individual pursuits, and the distance between them feels more daunting than ever. Several months pass before Kris returns to Charice. The reunion is emotional and bittersweet, with both of them feeling the weight of their time apart. They embrace each other, letting go of the months of doubt and yearning. Yet a subtle tension lingers, as if both are holding back unspoken fears. One night, as they sit by the ocean, Kris opens up about his struggles during the tour. He admits to feeling insecure, fearing that Charice's growing independence and success might lead her to a life where he no longer fits. Moved by his vulnerability, Charice reassures him that her love for him hasn't changed, even as they've grown individually. Their heartfelt conversation rekindles the spark they'd lost, bringing them closer than ever before. Charice realizes that her love for Kris is built not on proximity but on the understanding and support they give each other. Inspired, she decides to turn down Harold's offer for now, wanting to focus on building a shared future with Kris rather than rushing into separate dreams. That evening, they make a pact to put more effort into their relationship, committing to building a life where their ambitions don't divide them but bring them closer together. As Kris and Charice settle back into their life together, they begin laying the foundation for a future that honors both their dreams. Kris proposes a new project. Combining his photography with Charice's love of curation, they plan to open a gallery together. This project symbolizes their shared vision, blending their talents in a way that allows them to thrive both as individuals and as partners. With excitement, they start looking for a location, spending weekends visiting potential gallery spaces and dreaming up ideas. The experience brings them closer, reminding them of the initial magic they felt when they first met. Charice realizes that her dreams don't have to come at the expense of their relationship. Instead, they can build something beautiful together. As they take their first steps toward this new beginning, both Charice and Kris feel a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. They've weathered countless challenges, distance, doubt, and temptation, and emerged stronger, united by a love that has been tested and refined. Their love story becomes a testament to the power of resilience and partnership, proving that true love can adapt and grow even through the toughest trials. Together, they look forward to a future filled with creativity, purpose, and the kind of happiness that only comes from choosing each other time and time again. With their vision for a gallery finally taking shape, Charice and Kris begin working tirelessly to turn their dream into reality. They find an old, rustic building with floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooks a charming neighborhood in a quieter part of the city. The building, with its exposed brick and ample natural light, feels perfect for their shared vision, an open, welcoming space for art, beauty, and community. Over the next few months, they immerse themselves in renovating the space. Charice oversees the design and layout, envisioning curated exhibitions with special rooms for interactive art installations. Kris, meanwhile, captures photographs of the renovation process, finding beauty in the grit and rawness of the building's transformation. Each brick, every brushstroke of paint, and each fixture they select feels like a symbol of their love and teamwork, and it becomes a labor of love for both of them. In the evenings, they collapse together on the floor with takeout dinners, surrounded by scattered sketches, paint samples, and tools. In those quiet moments, they share dreams of how their gallery will not only celebrate art but inspire others to create, to connect, and to feel deeply. Just as the gallery begins to come together, an unexpected complication arises. Charice receives notice from the building's owner that new zoning restrictions might prevent them from opening the gallery in that location. The news feels like a blow, threatening to unravel all the hard work they've put into making their dream a reality. Charice feels crushed, and Kris senses her frustration and disappointment. Determined not to let this setback defeat them, Kris spends nights researching potential ways around the zoning issue. Meanwhile, Charice meets with city officials, advocating passionately for their gallery's mission and the positive impact it could have on the community. Her determination impresses the city officials, who see her commitment not just to art, but to fostering a sense of belonging for local residents. After several weeks of tense waiting, they finally receive good news. The city council has granted them a special permit, allowing them to move forward with the gallery. This victory feels even sweeter after the struggle, and it brings Kris and Charice even closer, showing them how powerful they can be when they face challenges together. As they near the gallery's opening, Kris receives an unexpected visit from his estranged father, a man who abandoned his family when Kris was young. His father claims he's changed and wants to reconnect, but Kris is torn, overwhelmed by conflicting feelings of anger, hurt, and confusion. Despite Charice's encouragement to face his past, Kris feels hesitant, fearing his father's reappearance could disrupt the happiness he's finally found. After several days of contemplation, Kris decides to meet with his father, hoping for closure more than reconciliation. During their conversation, Kris realizes his father is genuinely remorseful for his actions, admitting to the mistakes that left a lasting impact on Kris's life. Though forgiveness doesn't come easily, Kris finds a sense of peace in confronting his father. It's a transformative moment that allows him to let go of some of the pain he's carried for years. When Kris returns, Charice senses his relief and embraces him, proud of his courage to confront his past. This experience deepens their bond, reminding them of the strength they gain from supporting each other through life's hardest moments. As they put the finishing touches on the gallery, Charice discovers she is pregnant. The news fills her with a mix of excitement and apprehension. She worries about balancing her new role as a mother with her responsibilities for the gallery, and she's anxious about how Kris will react, knowing that this will change everything. When she finally shares the news with Kris, his face lights up with joy. He reassures her that they can navigate this new journey together, promising to be by her side every step of the way. They share a quiet moment, holding each other and imagining the life they will build with their child. For the first time, their vision for the future feels complete. Over the following weeks, Kris and Charice prepare not only for the gallery's grand opening, but also for the arrival of their child. They begin to reimagine the gallery as a family-friendly space, where people of all ages can come to appreciate art and find inspiration. The prospect of raising a family together fills them both with a new kind of hope, strengthening their commitment to their dreams and each other. The day of the gallery's grand opening finally arrives, drawing a crowd of friends, family, artists, and supporters who have followed Kris and Charice's journey. The space is filled with stunning artwork, photographs, and installations, each piece chosen with care and intention. The atmosphere buzzes with excitement, and Kris and Charice feel a sense of pride and accomplishment as they walk through the gallery together. In a speech to the guests, Kris and Charice share the story of their journey, from the spark of an idea to the challenges they overcame to make their dream a reality. Their words resonate with the audience, who see the gallery not just as a space for art, but as a testament to love, resilience, and the courage to dream big. As the evening progresses, Charice feels a gentle nudge from their unborn child, a reminder of the life they're about to embark on together. Surrounded by the art, laughter, and warmth of the community they've built, Charice and Kris realize they have everything they need to create a beautiful future. With their gallery thriving and their family growing, Kris and Charice embrace this new chapter with open hearts. They've learned that true love is built not just on passion, but on partnership, sacrifice, and unwavering support. And as they stand side by side, looking out at the world they've created together, they know that this is just the beginning of a lifetime of dreams. As Charice and Kris settle into their new lives, balancing the gallery with their growing family, Charice notices subtle changes in her own priorities and dreams. She's still passionate about the gallery, but her heart is now also deeply invested in their upcoming role as parents. She starts envisioning how the gallery could evolve to welcome a more inclusive, family-friendly environment, somewhere that parents, children, and art lovers of all ages could come together and find inspiration. Kris, too, feels the anticipation of fatherhood shifting his focus. Late at night, he takes photos of Charice as she drifts off to sleep, capturing her peaceful expression, which radiates hope and contentment. The photos become a cherished series, documenting the quiet intimacy and beauty of this transformative period in their lives. In one quiet moment, Charice confides in Kris her mixed feelings of excitement and trepidation. Kris, holding her close, reassures her that they're building a life filled with endless possibilities and that every dream they've nurtured, both individually and together, will shape their child's future. As the gallery's success grows, Charice's family reaches out to reconnect. They had initially disapproved of her choices, especially her journey with Kris, but seeing how deeply she is loved and how accomplished she has become fills them with pride. Her parents, who have always held on to traditional values, find themselves softening as they witness the happiness and fulfillment Charice has found with Kris. Charice feels a mixture of gratitude and relief at this long-awaited reconciliation. Though there were times she feared she'd never regain her family's support, she is now surrounded by their encouragement, their acceptance, and even their eagerness to support the gallery. Her parents express interest in contributing ideas, and her younger siblings even volunteer to help with future events. Kris, always one to respect family bonds, welcomes them with open arms, grateful for the peace and harmony their acceptance brings to Charice. Together, they celebrate this new chapter with her family, strengthening the foundation of love, support, and shared dreams that defines their lives. To celebrate their success, Charice and Kris decide to host a grand event at the gallery, inviting renowned artists and art enthusiasts alike. It's an evening of elegance, as they showcase the gallery's latest collection and highlight emerging artists who have used the space to share their stories and creativity. As the night unfolds, Kris unveils a surprise exhibition of his own photography, a tribute to Charice and their journey. His series captures candid moments, her laughter, her quiet reflection, and her determination in the face of challenges. The centerpiece is a beautiful, black and white portrait of Charice taken on the gallery's first day, a symbol of how far they've come. The exhibit moves Charice to tears as she sees herself through Kris's eyes, framed in love and admiration. Their guests are equally moved, witnessing not only an art gallery but a love story told through photographs, passion, and commitment. The gallery has become not just a place of beauty, but a beacon of hope and inspiration for everyone who walks through its doors. In the final days of Charice's pregnancy, she and Kris prepare their home for the arrival of their baby, filling it with warmth, love, and simple touches to make it special. Kris spends late nights painting murals on the nursery walls, filling the room with scenes of the places they've traveled and dreams they've shared. Charice smiles as she watches him, marveling at how deeply he loves both her and the life they are building together. When Charice goes into labor, it's a moment filled with both excitement and nervousness. Kris holds her hand through every contraction, whispering words of encouragement and love. Together, they welcome a beautiful baby boy who brings a new kind of light and love into their lives. Holding their son for the first time, they feel the completion of their journey as a family. A new adventure has just begun. Charice names their son Liam, a name that symbolizes strength and resilience. They are overcome with gratitude for the journey that led them here, from chance encounters to the building of dreams, and now the creation of new life. In the days following Liam's birth, Charice and Kris find a peaceful rhythm as a family. The gallery continues to thrive, becoming a cherished space for local artists and a haven for families and friends to gather, share, and be inspired. Kris and Charice see their vision come to life in ways they never expected, as the gallery begins hosting workshops for young artists and events that celebrate creativity and community. Years pass, and their story becomes woven into the fabric of their city. Kris and Charice watch as Liam grows up in an environment surrounded by art, love, and possibility. Together, they teach him to embrace creativity and kindness, hoping he will carry forward their legacy of compassion and resilience. In a final poignant moment, Kris captures a family photograph at the gallery, framed by the art and memories they've created. The photograph becomes a symbol of their journey, a love that has defied expectations, weathered challenges, and blossomed into something truly extraordinary. With each passing day, Kris and Charice's love continues to grow, reminding them that true love isn't just found in passion, but in the quiet moments of partnership, trust, and shared dreams. And as they look toward the future, hand in hand with their son, they know that they have created a life filled with beauty, purpose, and endless possibility. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more delightful stories.